Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want.
Got a player who's hurt? No problem.
Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.
Head over to DraftKings.com now and use promo code SPREAKER to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com, bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter SPREAKER now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that is DraftKings.com. And you're with the elements and it's hot and everything else. So I think basketball.
Wait, so you're saying that a woman can't be attractive after eating about 2.5 pounds of kielbasa and then shotgunning a sixer? Because I find that to be the most sexy. Welcome back to the friendly confines for yet another fine edition of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show with the Cola Gummy Bears, FU Hairbo. There are many things you can put in your ears. This is one of them. We are part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. She is Claire. My favorite band is the Lumineers, Mullins, at the Claire Bear 23, Candy Corn Aficionado over at the NFL Female Podcast. I'm Andy Carlson, recently switched over to at Andy Carlson Show, all one word, but still doing things over at purpleftw.com. We can be found at Claire-Vs-Carlson on Twitter and YouTube and iTunes and Spreaker, latenightsportsradio.com, facebook.com/Claire-Vs-Carlson. Long intro. You're back there munching on some gummy bears. What are you doing?
They're so gross.
They're so gross. There are children all over the world that would literally join a militia and murder people to get some of those cola Hairbo gummies.
Well, I feel very terrible for them, and I do donate to charities that provide for children who would murder people for gummy bears. But that's not the point. We live in America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and prosperity. And I do all right. And Hairbo, Happy Cola, whatever, gummy things maybe should just go out of business.
Well,
they're awful.
They can't really go out of business. They can continue the brand.
Well, they should not be making these anymore. They're like flat, off-brand cola in a gummy. So now, I won't be chewing on those anymore.
Now, is there some sort of regional cola that's big in Texas, or is it just like Coke, Pepsi, RC?
There's Dr. Pepper, which is
that's right.
from Texas. Yep. But usually it's either, when you go to a restaurant, you just say, I'll have a Coke. And the server usually says, what kind of Coke would you like? And then some people will order Sprite, and some will order Dr. Pepper, or some will order root beer, and some will actually order Coke.
Why don't some of you Southerners and Texians just say, I would like a Sprite, instead of that whole expedited process of, I would like a Coke. What kind of Coke you want, sweetie? I would like a white Coke, a Sprite Coke.
Because we like to chat, I think. It extends conversations.
But
I don't know why.
Down in Texas.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, now, to completely derail this little intro, do Texans still call themselves Texians like they did in the Mexican-Texan War? Alamo?
There are people whose heritage is from Mexico who call themselves such. There's a Texian army. That's a fan base of one of the teams locally. I don't think it's Well, no, it's the Texans, yeah. But there's also something similar for the Dynamo, the MLS team here. So, yeah.
Damn it, is this like the whole Coke thing again? Because you have a Texian army, except you don't call it like the Texans army instead of ordering like a Coke Sprite.
We like to complicate things.
Yes, indeed. And complicated, we got a ton of stuff on today's show. It's probably the most hodgepodgey of all of our episodes, all 13 of our episodes. Well, actually, this is show 12 for Claire, but I'm not going to keep rubbing that in.
You won't, will you?
A big deal. And talk about the intro. Or, so your favorite band is the Lumineers, correct?
No.
Hey?
Although I do have a little bit of a penchant for that one song. It's really sweet. But I don't like bands that are straight up acoustic, usually.
Oh, they're not acoustic, they're folk.
Well, folk. I don't like that sort of music.
And they got mustaches for days, Jerry.
I don't care about their mustaches.
They dress like they're Amish.
No, I don't like that either. I mean, to each their own, but it's not a preference.
All right,
it's not hard to develop an actual style.
All right, speaking of style, you put out a little photo of yourself in a dress, and that was the one that broke the internet. It wasn't Kim Kardashian's ass. It wasn't Golik's ass either. But come on.
Stop.
Come
I'm
on.
over here blushing. Stop it. You're not even supposed to talk about that publicly. That's why it's on my protected account.
Oh, come on. You can put your news on the street. Plus, how are you going to tell you're blushing? You live in Texas.
What does that mean?
You're probably sunburnt or windburnt or...
You're crazy, dude. Let's just change this topic right now. Let's talk about sports.
Fine, let's talk about fun stuff.
Good.
But
I prefer
first,
that.
We got to bring it down quite a bit and call out some people because that's kind of what we do in the radio business, even though this is a podcast business. But very sad story to start with. Florida State shootings, gunman, a former student, attorney, opened fire in Florida State's Strozier Library early Thursday morning. Thankfully, no one was killed except for the shooter, who was gunned down by police. There were 3 injured. But for the sports tie-in, ESPNU, employee, not employee, made a bad joke on the Twitter machine. ESPNU campus connection reporter, who's ESPNU came out and vehemently said that this is not an employee, but more a representative. Some chick named something called Marissa Martin. She tweeted out, quote, reported gunman on the FSU campus. Maybe she is heading for Jameis, end quote. And she caught a bit of flack from that. Also, kind of funny thing is that the first response, the first person to call her out was a guy named Drew, who actually lives up in the cities that I met. Pretty cool guy. It was pretty neat that, he was part of the screenshot that all the news organizations were circulating of her tweet. So that was kind of funny. But not funny was her follow-up. It was, quote, since apparently I can't make a joke in all seriousness, I hope everyone at Florida FSU is safe and that the gunman is found, but I stand by my opinions, end of quote. And, of course, a couple hours later, she claimed she was hacked. The old standby follow. But first off, I stand by my opinions. What does that even mean in this case?
Because it wasn't even an opinion. It was essentially saying you hope Jameis Winston is murdered by a campus shooter. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what she just said. And then making light of the fact that there was a shooter on campus at FSU who almost killed somebody who happened to have the bullet stopped by a book that he had just checked out of the library in his backpack, which is just crazy, that whole story. This chick, I mean, it's one thing to have an opinion, but a little tact and respect. And that wasn't an opinion. An opinion would be, oh, I really hope Jameis Winston dies. Okay, that's maybe an opinion. But it was a supposition that was unnecessary and made light of the people who actually were terrified that evening on campus. So I found it in awful taste, and I'm almost certain, surely, I mean, if ESPN is going to go and ban everybody and their mom for saying stuff about domestic violence, surely there will be repercussions for this lady, even though she is not an employee.
She's
a student.
We buried the lead on this. She's the ESPNU campus connection reporter for Alabama.
Bama. Yeah. So, roll Tide.
Yeah, even Yeah, but I stand my opinions thing. There wasn't even an opinion here. There was just major crime is you made a very uncreative joke, and it's very terrible at that time.
It's not a joke. It's not funny. Jokes are funny. That wasn't funny. Even if you hate Jameis Winston, because I hate Jameis Winston. Oh my God, I hate his smirky little face, and I just don't like him. But it wasn't a joke. It wasn't funny. Even someone who hates Jameis Winston didn't look at that and say, "Ha ha ha, that's so fun. That's so clever." It's not clever. It was stupid and bitchy and unnecessary and just an extremely poor taste. And so I hope she just gets what's coming to her.
You know what's clever?
What?
I'm clever.
Sometimes you actually are quite funny.
Moving on to another story that is not really funny. Yeah, we're really starting it off down, but I guess we're just going to crescendo as we get on to more fun things like RG3 and hockey players being broke. But Adrian Peterson, he gone. And what are your thoughts on this? He's sat down probably for the whole year. He is appealing, but then again, the appeal goes to Goodell. The story's been hammered to death. I'm pretty exhausted by it, but what are your thoughts on him being gone?
Well, you live and breathe this. I mean, you're obviously a Minnesota fan, diehard. Adrian Peterson was your boy. This happened. You were very against what he did, as was I. What he did was deplorable, but I feel like this is very reactionary by Roger Goodell. Mm-hmm. Had he not had a firestorm around domestic violence this year, I don't think that he would have gone out of the limb and used his judge, jury, and executioner status to its fullest extent, like he just did with Adrian Peterson. The fact of the matter is, the NFLPA did come out and say, you told us that the suspension, or not suspension, but what was it called? The exemption? Where
Commissioner's exempt list.
There you go. Where Adrian Peterson was on, that would count toward his suspension. And I just feel like there aren't any rules for what do you do in this circumstance when a player is accused of a crime and it's very public and he pleads out of it. I mean, and so you just make up a rule, you make up a punishment as you go.
Well, he has the authority to make it up, though. I mean, when they had the CBA negotiations in 2011, the NFLPA, which makes me think why I don't know why they're complaining about this, because they gave him this power in collective bargaining. They let him be judge, jury, and executioner, and now they're complaining when he's using that power that they gave him.
Is it using the power, or is it abusing it to maintain what he considers to be some semblance of dignity?
See, that's the thing, though, because the NFLPA and Adrian's camp were complaining when he used that authority to put him on the commissioner's exempt list, where he was able to be paid throughout this entire process. So they weren't complaining when Goodell was using his authority right there. But now, when he's taken away these last few games of the season, it's a big stink. And yes, I do agree that it is very poor timing with the Ray Rice stuff, with the Greg Hardy stuff. And I realize that Adrian did these deeds in May, but it was just very poor timing on how all of this played out, being, as a part of all these domestic violence cases in the public eye.
I mean, I don't think that Adrian Peterson's camp necessarily created the commissioner's exempt list. That was Roger Goodell's doing. I feel like an alternate punishment would be for what Adrian Peterson was paid for the games he missed, for that to be repaid to the league or his team. And then he's allowed to continue playing as it has been resolved in a court of law. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm pretty much indifferent by it. I'm basically just tired of talking about it since all in with Jerick McKinnon. Come on. Oh. And also the whole thing of, the team saying that Adrian, we have no plans to trade or release him, and then Adrian coming out today. He had a very good interview with Tom Pelissero of the USA Today. Used to be the Vikings beat writer here. I think it was Star Tribune.
Okay.
Might have been the Pioneer Press, one of the two. But Adrian did seem very contrite in it, and he talked about maybe a fresh start is best for both sides. So that makes me think that his party have had conversation with the Vikings that lead him to believe that they're going to move on, so he may as well too. But
Right.
I like that. My favorite part about it is that he said that he's learned from this and he's not going to use the switch again because in the greater scheme of things, that is the most important part. Adrian's relationship with that child and all of his other children going forward. I mean, football, sorry, Adrian Peterson fans, football is very much secondary in this case.
Absolutely. I agree.
And we move on. But not to move on. I don't think Adrian's back with the Vikings next year. And I think it's much more to do with his contract and his age than his transgressions of this whole season.
Yeah, you've been saying that since before this even came to light. So I definitely can see that happening.
$13 million is a lot of cap space. We can get Mike Iupati in the door. Come on.
Okay. Good luck.
I just want it for all the potty jokes.
Oh. That doesn't surprise me in the least.
Another running back who is in the headlines and is probably not going to be on his team next year, to be honest. Marshawn Lynch fined 100 dimes for not talking to the media. He even stayed on the field during the halftime of the Seattle Seahawks loss in Kansas City. Sorry, Dana. That was announced Wednesday that he was fined $50,000 as well as $50K that was imposed from him not talking to the media during Super Bowl week in 2013. 100 dimes just for not opening the mouth and jibber jabbering and not saying anything. That seems like a lot.
I have seen a contract in the NFL, and it explicitly states that as part of your responsibilities as a representative of that team, you must talk to the media, and the players sign that contract. And as much as I don't think that some people are inclined to be comfortable with that scenario, if you agree to do it, you agree to do it.
Now,
I mean,
was this?
That's all there is.
Did you see that contract from when you and Keyshawn Martin were dating?
You're not supposed to tell anybody about that. That was our secret.
I mean, I know that DJ Swearinger is your bae.
Swag.
They kind of got the same haircut.
A little bit. I think Swags are maybe a little bit his braids. I guess they are. I don't think they're dreads. They're braids, right? That they're a little thinner. But yeah, Swag is something.
Right,
if he could play, that would be great.
But diverting back to Marshawn Lynch, you see this a lot with just athletes out there who, a lot of them, I'm sure, deep down, would rather not do media. They just want to play and be about that action boss. But just have a script. Just be bland. You can just say nothing. I mean, Tom Brady is fantastic at this. He is very personable in the media, has a weekly radio spot on WEEI, but he says absolutely nothing.
Right, and that's what Arian Foster did this summer. He received a warning from the league because he was refusing to speak to the media.
Oh, but he was kind of being a jackass in the whole...
Well, that was after he received a talking to from the NFL. No, let me go through it from the beginning. Okay, just real quick. I can make a quick synopsis.
Defending Bay 1.0.
Defending Bay. I mean, okay, we joke about other guys, but Arian Foster really is like, he intrigues me mentally. He is just a fascinating human to me. Anyway, point is he did some bad stuff, got a girl pregnant outside of his marriage, and she went to the media and gave a lot of information that may or may not have been true. It seemed a little far-fetched. The media camped out at his house and did things that were a little bit above and beyond. Fans, turned on him, and he is the sensitive sort who takes that stuff personally and doesn't know who to trust. He refused to talk to the media. He was kind of a jerk to fans, and the NFL came back and said, you can't do that. So then he did his, I'm just going to out there trying to be a good teammate. I'm just out there trying to be, whatever, give 110%, all that stuff. And it's since blown over because he's performed this season. And really, that's all fans wanted. He was coming off an injury. He was, got paid a bunch of money, and then he got hurt and didn't play last year. So now that he's performing again, it's pretty much water under the bridge. But yeah, that same thing happened to Arian Foster, and it just depends on how you want to deal with the outcome. And Marshawn Lynch, hopefully he'll get over his shyness and not be a Ricky Williams and let it affect his entire being.
Well, maybe he'll wear his helmet and his visor like Ricky Williams used to do.
That was kind of weird. Why do you think he did? Did the sun bother him that much?
Oh, no. I remember from the 30 for 30 on him, he's got like social anxiety or something along those lines, which explains a lot of it. I mean, maybe Lynch, he has some of these symptoms as well.
Well, you can't expect everybody in the league to be completely outgoing, comfortable being in the spotlight. You can't expect that of every single player. There are going to be people who are shy, they're introverted or whatever, and they just want to do their job. At the same time, they sign the contract. It's your responsibility. I'm sorry you're in the spotlight, but it is what it is.
So you're saying that Marshawn Lynch isn't going to be doing nationwide commercials where it's like, I'm just about that action, boss?
That would actually be fantastic.
I would watch that.
I would too.
I would switch over insurance. Are you listening nationwide? To nationwide if Marshawn Lynch, you got him to do a commercial.
And now it's up to Nationwide to either hire us as spokespeople for their company or to sue us. So add them to the list.
No, that is a tagline. All of our promos. And we tried not to get sued by blank and blank company on this edition of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show.
That's right. So.
Oh, wait. I got one for you, by the way.
Yeah.
For your Adrian Foster tangent.
Oh, good for you.
There we go. Moving on to another malcontent. Yeah, that's right. You can't hear the sound drops. Booyah.
I hate that.
RG3 calling out teammates, Jay Gruden calling out RG3, and then they all kiss up and make nice afterwards. But after a 27-7 home loss to the worst team in the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, you heard me, Raider fans. RG3 post-game press conference, kind of threw some shade in his teammates' way, saying, quote, great quarterbacks, the Peytons, the Aaron Rodgers, those guys don't play well. If their guys don't play well, they don't. We need everybody. I need every one of those guys in that locker room, and I know they're looking at me saying the same thing, end quote, shade thrown. And Gruden fired back at the third-year bust in the making, saying RG3 should, quote, worry about himself, end quote. And then, the day after, I'm sure the Snyders and Allen got after both of them, and then they all kissed and made up nice in the media. But this is bad. And
it really
awesome.
Is.
And
right.
Awesome.
Because the Redskins are kind of that team right now where they're the bad guys because of their name and because of their belligerence and refusing to adapt to societal pressures regarding their name. Then you see it kind of appearing to implode a bit. At the same time, I think what RG3 said was completely legitimate. What was not legitimate was the fact that he said it publicly. Mm-hmm. That's something you say in the locker room as a leader. Look, I'm not doing my best, but you guys aren't doing your best either. We all need to shape up and do a better job. Okay, that's one thing in a locker room. In front of media cameras, that is unacceptable to me. You don't call people out publicly like that. And then it doesn't motivate anybody. It just doesn't. And then Jay Gruden's response, RG3 may be 24 years old. Jay Gruden's a grown man, okay? There's no immaturity about him or whatever. That was just not cool. No.
I loved Jay Gruden's response because I think it was honest. I think it was a season of frustration with who's supposed to be your leader, your quarterback, and RG3's piss-poor attitude is something that's creeped his head around more than once. I mean, he got Mike Shanahan fired. He ran the Shanahans out of town.
The Shanahans were using him. They were trying to change his entire game from what he did in college. Are you serious with this argument?
Oh yeah. I
called bullshit.
He's a coach killer. I mean, Dwight Howard called and says, "Hey, RG3 is a coach killer."
Dwight Howard is no coach killer. We can argue about that one on a different show.
Stan Van Gundy, come on.
I don't care. Look at him now. He is flourishing in Houston under McHale, who is what kind of a leader? No one knows. Anyway, doesn't matter.
You do not throw shade at Kevin McHale. He is a great basketball mind, just not a very good GM.
Well, he's just the coach, but Daryl Morey is the GM.
Trust me. As a Timberwolves fan, I understand Kevin McHale as a GM.
Oh. Well, as a coach, he makes questionable decisions too. But we digress. Like usual.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
We're talking about RG3.
Oh, yeah, RG3. Bust in making.
I think I don't know that he's a bust. I mean, you heard Shanahan specifically basically say that he put him out there injured to try and lead this team into the playoffs a couple of years ago. He was not treated well as a very young quarterback in this league by someone who expected more from him than he physically, not due to ability, but due to ability to stay healthy. He was not able to give what the Shanahans were demanding. And I think it kind of ruined him, because if you look at him now when he plays, he looks a little bit confused by defenses. He looks a little bit scared and tentative all the time. And I know that it was college and it was Baylor and it wasn't the same level, obviously, but he did not look like that in college.
That's because he was facing Big 12 defenses and had Art Briles, baby.
Right. Air raid everything. But point remains.
I don't know, because Shanahan, yes, they didn't do him any favors rolling him out there in the 2012 playoff game where he ended up tearing the ACL. But, his whole attitude, his aloofness really bothers me. Like when it's small things, this calling out teammates, that's definitely a big thing. But small off the field things, like when he Instagrammed that picture or Facebook his picture of, when he got all those wedding gifts.
That was embarrassing.
It's just another drop in the bucket. I mean, and when he takes to Facebook to, talk about himself and his teammates, and when he held a press conference during the last year of the Shanahan regime saying that me and Coach aren't having a beef. Well, then why'd you call a press conference? Oh, well, I just wanted to say we didn't have a beef. And then also, I don't think the Shanahans, you're working on his mechanics, had anything to do with them talking about quoting Winston Churchill in one of the earlier press conferences this season. I mean, who do you think you are? You stop comparing yourself to Churchill, man.
Yeah. I don't really – I'm not saying, like, he's a great guy. I'm not saying he's a great leader. I'm not saying he's going to be a great quarterback. I just think he's been placed in unfortunate situations for a young person who is asked to do a lot in not the best circumstances. That's all.
I agree, but still he's definitely a poster child of pampered athletes who've been pampered their entire life, and they just don't understand the situation, They can't take the temperature of the room and just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm just.
Plus, this could be a one and done for Gruden. There's been 3 one and done coaches in each of the past 3 years. I think Gruden might be it, because we've seen that Daniel Snyder doesn't mind paying a coach to not coach the team, and RG3 is going to be on his 4th year of his rookie deal. His 5th year option is going to be up there, since it's the average of being a top 10 pick. It's the transition tag of the 2015 quarterbacks, and that's going to be pretty hefty too. So yeah, he's going to be around next year. I don't know if Gruden will be.
Ooh, you think already?
See, this might be a spot as well for Daniel Snyder to throw a brickload of money at a Gus Malzahn, at Kevin Sumlin, like we talked about last week, them going to the Jets. Daniel Snyder isn't afraid to make a splash. In fact, he prefers it. And, if they send Gruden the younger out the door and to look at RG3, say, hey, he worked in college. He worked in 2012 as a rookie when Kyle Shanahan was doing a lot of college-type stuff. So why not make a big splash and try and land that Kevin Sumlin, that Art Briles even, reunite them from Baylor, even though he's got a huge deal there. I could see something like that happening.
I mean, it could be. I don't know. I really can't foresee the future, because they're kind of just Daniel Snyder is just crazy. He doesn't make much sense hardly ever. His defense of the name Redskins is stupid. Everything that he does and says, it just doesn't.
Giving $25 million to Adam Archuleta.
Oh yeah.
Adam Archuleta. That's my favorite free agent signing of all time.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't know what Daniel Snyder is up to, what he plans to do in the future, but he just doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of which, we talked about this on Purple for the Win, the last episode. The 2012 draft picks, after Andrew Luck at number 1, who's obviously Bay, the real Bay, picks 2 through 7 and debatably 2 through 8 are abysmal. RG3 went to number 2, Washington, and Trent Richardson went to number 3 to Cleveland. Matt Khalil, Justin Blackman, who's out of the league right now, Morris Claiborne, who's on bust watch in Dallas, Mark Barron, who's not even with the Buccaneers anymore, and then Ryan Tannehill is at 8.
Oh, God. What a mess.
Not really fantastic through there. But then you do have Luke Kuechly at 9, Stephon Gilmore is pretty decent in Buffalo at 10, and then Don Terry Poe, who's a stud at 11 in KC.
Well, okay. Can't lose them all, I guess.
So you got good bread, except you got a really crappy sandwich. You got a turd sandwich right in the middle there.
You totally do. It's a little bit embarrassing. You're like, how did these guys end up in the first round in the
Especially
NFL?
the Richardson Khalil Blackman parlay.
Yeah, that one was rough. That one's a little. Those are embarrassments to each of those franchises.
No. The best part is that the Vikings were originally at 3, and Cleveland traded up to get Trent Richardson. They flipped off the 3 and 4 pick.
And taking a running back in the first round, I mean, you just better be sure he's going to be something. And Trent Richardson has no. What's his average yards per carry now? Like 0.8. I'm just making that up.
Oh, I do think it's funny that the Colts have 2 of the top 3 picks from that draft.
Yeah.
Interesting. Since the Browns checked out of that really quick. Also, really quick before we get to our first break, speaking of running backs in the first round, Todd Gurley could have been, probably should have been one of them, except Saturday, tore an ACL against Auburn, this after coming back from serving a 4-game suspension from the NCAA for those autographs. Oh, how dare you profit off your own image. And this is really weird because I feel like there's a very large contingent who thought that Gurley should just give the middle finger to the NCAA and, frankly, to Georgia, who sold him out, very similar to how they sold out A.J. Green his last year at Georgia for selling his jersey. And, he comes back and tears the ACL this late in the season, might not even be ready for the start of next season. And how is this going to affect his draft stock? This is going to be bad for him.
These guys, I mean, I think they get on it. We've talked about it and we've hammered it to death. But these college guys, if they are lucky enough to make it out healthy, then good for them. But they take a lot of risks to get to where they're going for the chance at getting rewarded handsomely down the road. When they're in college, I mean, yeah, okay, things might happen under the table, but legitimately they can't be rewarded for the extra spotlight they give their university or the extra money they bring into the university. They don't get anything legitimate out of it. And then you see this potentially career-affecting injury happening to someone like Todd Gurley, who's amazing. He was in the Heisman conversation before, of course, the suspension. It's unfortunate. If he's not healthy going into the draft, maybe someone takes a chance on him like they did Marcus Lattimore for the 49ers, but maybe they don't.
And speaking of which, Marcus Lattimore just retired from the NFL because of that ACL injury he had at South Carolina, and which is unfortunate for him. I think he gets his full insurance payout, though, which is kind of nice. And also, I think I remember seeing that Gurley had an insurance policy paid for by Georgia. So I guess that's kind of nice. Now, there is some jibber-jabber that he might come back for a senior season in Georgia. That's not happening, right?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm a college player,
especially a running back,
I'm out the first chance I get. Because, I used to be such a big advocate, but you want to stay and get your degree because you'll never go back and, whatever. You know what? You got this one chance in your life. Do you really want to risk losing that opportunity to totally take care of your family and have a prosperous future for them? I probably wouldn't. If you just look at it in dollars and cents, nope, I'm out of there.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of out of there, we are out of here as well as as we go into the first break.
Goes the dynamite.
All right, that sound drop did not land, but whatever. We'll be a Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, BRB. And coming back from the first break, it's first quarter America. And Claire and I were just talking off air about the gloriness of Ben Tate, who recently landed here with my Minnesota Fighting Vikings. Mostly indifferent to him. You had some strong takes on him, though.
I'm not a fan. I think he's rude. I've just heard he has a bad attitude.
I don't think he's that good.
No, he's really not that good.
No, he's not.
What I said the other day was that he sure is surly for someone who's not that good.
Mm. No, but all right. So, would you say that he was a better backup in Houston or Alfred Blue?
Alfred Blue.
Yeah.
Well, Alfred Blue seems to be a better backup. We haven't seen much of him, but Ben Tate just runs right into the pile and hopes to steamroll somebody, and he didn't really do it. Alfred Blue, while not, I don't think he's going to be, he's like a featured back, Andy. I know you want him to be. I don't think he's that guy, but he is a more than serviceable backup, in my opinion.
There you go. Speaking of which, LSU, these four guys left early. Odell Beckham Jr., Mettenberger, who's a pretty decent college quarterback, Alfred Blue, and Jeremy Hill all left LSU early, which is kind of awesome.
Well, it's in Louisiana.
It's a hell of an offense.
Well, that's true. Good point.
Speaking of hell of, there was a hell of a lot of snow landing on Buffalo NY as they got over 7 feet of snow due to something called lake effect. Apparently that's a thing. They're supposed to play the Jets there on Sunday, but that has been moved to the Detroit Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun. And yeah, they've been kind of in good spirits. You know, they haven't been able to practice, but they're practicing, quote unquote, on their iPads. Marquise Goodwin took a picture of himself out in the snow shirtless, making snow angels. Boobie Gibson is Boobie being Boobie, chilling a bottle of Dom or whatever sort of Cristal, something like that in the snow. But the best story to come out of all this is Mario Good Guy Williams taking the Bobcat over and digging out Jim Kelly. That was an awesome story.
That was pretty cool. But also, I really like him, Kiko Alonso, who was doing his rehab in the snow. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Well, he's a big old dude.
Yeah, well, you obviously have ties to Mario Williams, right?
Oh.
Minor.
Maria, you mean?
Oh, come on.
I don't like him. I don't like his attitude. He's like Ben Tate to me. He just gives off that vibe.
Oh, come on. He was easily the best pick the Houston Texans could have made, as opposed to Reggie Bush or Vince Young in that draft.
Well, sure, he was, but it doesn't mean that I like his attitude. It's kind of like Jadeveon Clowney. I'm sure that he's a great player, but it doesn't mean you have to like him as a person.
Well, is Clowney a great player, though?
Well, he could be.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I'd rather.
And already, I think he was out of practice yesterday. Yeah, he didn't practice yesterday from what I read. So, that went over well.
Wow.
Anyway, so not about the Texans. I know I do that all the time. I'm sorry.
That's right. Now, back to Buffalo. They got a ton of snow. And interesting tidbit, I think it was Bill Polian pointed out that the reason that the Bill Stadium is an Orchard Park is because the land there is so cheap because it's part of the city that gets lake effect snow like that. Because it's kind of funny. Some places have 7 feet of snow, and then some parts of Buffalo or some suburbs of the city have like 4 inches.
Well, I mean, if you live in a place like Buffalo, wouldn't you want to use that to your home field advantage if you could? You guys are used to it. I mean, they
tried to play. The Bills were saying, like, hey, we'll give you $10 an hour and free tickets to the game if you can come out and dig us out.
Right.
Except nobody can move anyways.
I don't know. I think that it was probably a great idea, in my opinion, to have the stadium there. And unfortunately, every now and then it might bite you in the butt, but for the most part, if you can get lake effect snows during a game for, say, San Diego's in town for a playoff game. Sorry, a playoff game in Buffalo. But that would be definitely a home field advantage for you. So I would be willing to take that risk if I were a team owner in Buffalo.
Do you think they would ever call off the game due to heavy snow?
I don't know. Has it been done? I don't live in a snowy town.
No, like during the game, though. I know they just canceled this game, but like during the game, if it's, I mean, during some of the snowstorm, they were getting inches or even feet per hour.
Did you see the snow wall? There was a time-lapse
Yeah.
video of the snow wall coming in. It was crazy.
It was.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, but I'm glad I really wasn't.
And see, you don't get this down in the dirty South, but I actually don't mind cold weather being snowed in, which we're experiencing right now, because, you just stay in. Maybe you take off work or you work from home if you're capable of doing that, and then you just put your feet up, make some tea, have some chicken noodle soup, and it's not all that bad. I actually like the snow and the cold.
Well, if you get snow days out of it, it's awesome, I'm sure.
As opposed to Texas where you get dust days.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we got 7 inches of dust today. Looks like you ain't going to school there, Junior.
Have you ever been to Houston or Austin or Dallas?
But let's be honest. If the kid's 14, he's probably already out of school, right? With 2 kids.
Oh, my God.
Lumberjack. We're just playing up all the stereotypes.
It's awful.
Oh, come on. If you can't laugh at yourself, who are you going to laugh at?
I'm not laughing at myself.
Fine. Someone else who is not laughing, Emmanuel Sanders, who got knocked the F out last Sunday, diving for a deep Peyton Manning duck. Sanders stretched out and was very illegally hammered by Rodney McLeod right in the chest. Wikipedia listed him as dead, which was kind of funny.
Yes, I saw that.
He had a concussion. He's going through the protocol. Might be back on the field this Sunday as Denver takes on Miami. But it was one of those shots where that's definitely going to be on NFL films in the next couple of years to come. And legal shot again, but brutal. Rodney McLeod did everything right.
I mean, what are you going to do? You got to make the play, and as long as you're not doing anything that could be a penalty and hurt your team and the other player, drawing a flag, then you just make the best hit you can.
Now, see, in spots like this, I feel like the NFL should adopt the college rule where they can review these personal foul helmet-to-helmet stuff, because in college they can do that. And the NFL, McLeod did get a flag on the play, but video replay showed it was clearly he put it right in the middle of his chest, didn't lead with his helmet. It was legal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have that extra insurance to be sure that the right call is made at the same time. Just another layer of the penalty bureaucracy in the NFL. I can barely handle what currently exists. I'll be real honest.
But then again, if you get targeting in college, you are tossed out of the game.
At the second one.
So DJ Swearinger would play about 16 snaps this year for the Texans.
Well, he's not illegally hit. He's not targeting.
Yeah, but Emmanuel Sanders did have a sense of humor about it. Even Wikipedia listing him as dead as he Instagrammed a photo of him partying with all the ladies. Even though, did you see the picture? There was like an old lady in a Broncos jersey off to the left, which is kind of funny.
I didn't notice that.
It was like a straight up grandma.
Oh, well, maybe grandma likes to party.
Hello?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very ageist of you.
Emmanuel Sanders does not discriminate.
Good for him.
Speaking of discriminating, there was that jerk-ass Saints fan in the Bengals-Saints game. And, I'm actually glad the Bengals kicked the Saints' ass, because Jermaine Gresham scores the first quarter touchdown, is trying to toss the ball to a Bengals fan, pretty little lady in an A.J. Green jersey, and this old curmudgeon Saints fan boxes her out, almost elbows her in the face. Or did he? It was pretty much an elbow to the face. Grabs the ball, hangs on to the tight. Lady's begging for the ball, and he just like, no. And he got raked over the coals in the media this week, and rightfully so, because he's an ass.
Well, do you think he cared? He didn't seem like the type of person who really is affected by such opinions of him.
He probably doesn't even know what the internet is.
There you go. He's probably
he probably thinks the internet is what they use to catch shrimp. How do they catch shrimp? Internet.
Oh.
Oh, come on.
Happened?
Come on.
That really just happened? You just said that?
Oh, come on. That was pretty good. Fine. But yet, I agree. He says that's the cover that he's giving the ball to his grandson, but I don't buy it. I think he's just being an arse, because he could sense that Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, was going to roll the Saints in the Superdome at their home, just like they're going to get rocked again this Monday night by Baltimore.
Well, I don't doubt it. I did pick Baltimore, which we will discuss later, because I don't trust the Saints. Who are they right now? I don't know what their identity is. I don't know who they're trying to be. But the Saints, I mean, I have a feeling that the old guy felt entitled. He's been a fan through thick and thin and probably had season tickets for a million years. And it doesn't make it right. But you could just sort of see his face and say, he's a curmudgeon-y dude who thinks he's entitled to this. And whatever, to each their own. I mean, it's happened to me at baseball games. So it just hasn't been caught on film.
Now, how did you not get on film? Were you not wearing that dress? Were you not wearing the high heels that make you like 6'2"?
No.
Come on,
no.
Claire.
No.
High
I don't wear
fashion.
that to games. You can't wear heels to games. I'm anti-heels at games, and I will judge you for doing it, and I don't care who you are. And that may be bitchy of me, and that's just who I am. Maybe I'm a bitch. I don't know. Do not wear heels to football games because it just makes you look like a groupie. That's what it makes you look like.
Except, all right, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like baseball games are the ones where women get the most dressed up for.
Basketball.
Basketball?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think because basketball is always played inside. And it's usually at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that women tend to get more dressed up to go to a basketball game than an NFL game where you're out there tailgating all day, or a baseball game where they're usually outside and you're with the elements and it's hot and everything else. So I think basketball.
Wait, so you're saying that a woman can't be attractive after eating about 2.5 pounds of kielbasa and then shotgunning a sixer? Because I find that to be the most sexy.
Well, no, but she'll probably be doing it in jeans or shorts and Chucks and a team t-shirt, as opposed to sequency heels and a mini skirt. That's all.
I feel like a lot of baseball gear catered to women is very cute. It might just be me, but I feel like there is a ton of female designed sports gear, even more than the NFL.
There may be a lot of female designed sports gear, and I think that's just because the baseball shirt in particular, or the jersey sort of shirt, has just become a part of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
People just wear that. People who wear a jersey don't have a NFL jersey that is something else. Baseball shirts, like bands do T-shirts on baseball shirts now and everything else. So I think it's kind of more of a fashion accessibility issue as opposed to just being, I don't know, something people clamor for.
What'd you choke on? Was it the damn Harbo Cola gummies?
It was a Smartie.
I think that's kind of ironic that you choked on a Smartie.
I had to raid my friend's Halloween candy because I hadn't had a chance to eat today. So my apologies. I do this, I think, every show.
Is this a diabetes thing where you got to keep your blood sugar at a certain level?
I'm not Jay Cutler. I mean, I realize I give 0 Fs, but I'm not Jay Cutler.
I keep forgetting he's diabetic.
Yeah. No, I simply needed something to help sustain me for the 2+ hour duration of our taping. So here we are. I have a Dasani water and Smarties and cola gummies.
Dasani water, when you need to not die on air. Dasani.
Mm-hmm.
Cut, print, save, killing it. Players who are not killing it are a couple guys who quit on their teams. We had a couple examples this week. Ahmad Brooks, not happy with his linebacker rotation now that Aldon Smith is back in the mix. Basically, took himself out of the last 3 quarters of the 49ers game. He has since apologized. Harbaugh says, it's all good in the hood. That's not a direct quote, paraphrase. LeGarrette Blount reportedly walked off the field at the end of the Steelers' Monday Night Football win over Menton Booger and the Tennessee Titans. Sorry, Sharona. And he was cut by the team and then recently just passed through waivers and got picked up by New England again. Belichick, genius. Also, Ben Tate and Jason Avant were complaining about play calling and the role in the offense, and Avant cut. Ben Tate, he gone, and then waiver claimed by the Minnesota Vikings. But 4 cases in a very short period of time. What do you make of this?
I think that people see one other person being rebellious against authority, and then they feel like, oh, well, I can act on my emotions too. And they may not consciously think that, but it's just somewhere in the back of their brain. And so they just decide they don't think about the fact that there's ramifications, that you're under contract. You're expected to play the entire game when you are on the roster. So it's petty, it's childish, and you're being an awful teammate if you act this way. So people just need to get it together, put their pride aside, because the rest of us do it every day in life. You put your pride aside at work, because every once in a while your boss is going to think you did a bad job, or your coworker is going to do better than you, or whatever the situation is.
I really don't know what that's like.
Well, of course you don't.
Oh, good
I just
for
assume that's
you.
what other people deal with. I don't really know, but
Well, we all have our cross to bear in life, and for me, it's just being extremely, extremely elite at everything that I do.
Hello?
well, it's obvious you're exceptional at most things you do, especially getting on my nerves. But we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you.
That's right. No, I'm your Ben Tate. I'm your new Tate bait.
You don't want to be Ben Tate.
All right, fine. Also, speaking of, I don't want to be Jason Avant either, because he's probably done, and it takes a lot for the Panthers to cut a wide receiver because they are garbage there.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of options, and they're putting some chips in baskets that are very risky now after getting rid of Jason Avant. And none of their wide receivers have been lights out, but no one expected them to be lights out this season. That was probably the weakest link in their entire team going in. And so I guess you just do the best you can with what's left. And what is that exactly? It's not very good, and it drops a lot of balls.
Joe Webb. Just move him back out to wide receiver. I know he's the third quarterback right now. Do it. The pride of University of Alabama, Birmingham, who might be shutting down their football team anyways. Blazer.
Okay.
Blazer.
I haven't watched enough Joe Webb to know whether or not he's a legitimate wide receiving option.
Well, speaking of Buffalo and the Jets having moved their game due to snow, the last time that happened was when in 2010 for the Minnesota Fighting Vikings, when the dome collapsed and we ended up playing.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, no. Am I getting these details wrong? It was in Philly, and it ended up playing on Tuesday Night Football because of the snow. And Joe Webb was our quarterback, leading us to victory over the mighty Philadelphia Eagles, quarterback by Michael Vick, Antoine Winfield's best game as a Viking. Hello.
I'm sure that's a nice memory for you.
Not really. 2010 was pretty much a dumpster fire. And then we got Christian Ponder, so it's kind of a bad parlay of mixed
feelings. Honey, you're a Vikings fan.
Wah, wah. Yeah, and of course we would claim Ben Tate. You know what I called that when I found out about that? A real kick in the Tate.
That's pretty cute. But really, for him to have that kind of game against his former team that allowed him to enter free agency after he had been the starting running back all season, that was pretty bad. I mean, that's...
Well, would he have 2 carries for negative 9 yards?
Yes. That is a really bad look that you did that poorly against your former team. So,
and you lose your job to 2 rookie running backs, one of whom has a fumbling problem, and Isaiah Crowell.
I like Isaiah Crowell. He'll get it together, I think. I hope.
Moving on to someone who is not getting it together, Mike Mitchell and his Twitter game. So after the Monday Night Football win, he went to Twitter calling fans broke, trash, telling one to kill himself, and a lot more colorful language, not safe for the kiddies on this show. But Tomlin banned Mitchell from Twitter. And this 2 weeks after Mitchell jumped over the line of the Jets' victory formation, just kind of take out Michael Vick like YOLO style. Not a good sequence of good decisions.
Well, he didn't have a great game, but I mean, okay, fans do go overboard, but that does not give players, I don't want to say the right, because they have the right, obviously, to say whatever they want. But it's just a bad look. It's a bad look for everybody involved. It's a bad look for the fan who starts calling people things based on their skin color or a moron or whatever they are calling each other. And then it's a bad look for the player to respond. Now, a friend of mine who runs a blog down here in Houston actually got into it with, thank God I forget his name, safety for the Browns. He didn't at the player. He didn't mention him specifically on Twitter. The player was apparently just looking for his name.
The Tayshaun Gibson?
Exactly. Yeah, that's him. And the player, which I think is so vain and stupid, but everybody does it. J.J. Watt does it. Wade Phillips does it. They look for their names and they respond to things. And Tayshaun Gibson came back and he was like, oh, haha, this is from a guy who writes about it, but I'm sure you'd rather be playing like me and stuff like that. And then he went on to delete the tweets, of course, because that's what they do. They forget that you can screenshot everything. No, he just, it didn't come up. But he responded 3 times. Mm-hmm. And, my friend was like, no, I mean, I think you're a good player. You just got burned by so-and-so on these 2 specific plays. And the player took it very poorly. And I feel embarrassed for the player more so than I feel for the person who is getting attacked by the player, because shouldn't they just be above it? Should you really be worrying what every single person says about you? I don't know.
I think there's definite blame on both sides. Just the people. People are going to be terrible no matter what. Yeah. And things that they say in the privacy of their home, really come out, especially on Twitter when they're tweeting to like their 3 followers and they say, this person ain't nothing, and then calls them, like you said, sometimes the N-word or sometimes even worse than that, if you can imagine. But then, players, when these fans mention players and call them trash and find out who their family is and then call them trash on Twitter, and everyone sees keyboard warriors, that is way too far. But also on the player side, all these people who are, mentioning you, they just want you to react, and then that will become a story, and then they get their 15 minutes of Twitter fame, and that's really all that the trolls want. So you don't have to feed the trolls. You don't have to point out like, I played the game, so no, and you're just broke. Well, chances are you're going to be broke in a couple of years too, Mike Mitchell. So don't be calling people out like that. And just as a side note, I feel like this happens a lot with sports media types too, especially like writers, where they're very active on Twitter, promoting their stuff, and then when they get feedback from people with like 13 followers again, and it's something they don't like, they'll get very, very sensitive about it, and then they'll be like, this article I wrote, I got a paycheck for it, so I'm not even mad. And like really respected writers will go on Twitter and do this. Yep. And it's just like, you're so far above this, why do you even acknowledge it? And it's very petty, very small, and I don't know.
Yeah, why you're exacerbating it by responding. If everyone sees you responding, then they're going to come at you more, and you're going to respond more, and it's just going to be worse and worse, and then you get a reputation of being a dumbass because why are you responding to this? It's a bad circle.
Yeah, I actually have a self-imposed policy of only 1 reply per tweet now, because you've seen this so many times. It fills up your timelines. A couple of people go back and forth and be like, and I saw this like so much during the Adrian Peterson thing. People just going back and forth on just issues that no one's going to change their mind on anyway. So what's the point? So that's my new policy: 1 reply per tweet. I'll put something out there like a fact or a nugget or a promo, and then 1 reply. That's it. Someone asks a question, 1 reply. Not going to get into an open debate about this because it's really pointless. And I get that feeling too. I mean, I'm not immune from this, where you get a little worked up because someone says someone really like doesn't have to be even nasty to you, just someone that just rubs you the wrong way, and then
inflammatory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get my feelings butthurt all the time on Twitter, but there are times where I'll just say a 1-word smart aleck response and let it go. I feel better. They don't really have a response for that 1-word smart aleck response of mine, and it just kind of dies, which is great. Let it die.
You have to realize that all the social media stuff is more for the LOLs. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Right. Exactly. I mean, because you can argue something all day long, and what's the point? Are you going to change minds and in turn change the world? No. Everyone's still going to have their same opinion, and you're just going to be tired and irritated by the fact that you just talked to an idiot for 3 hours of your day or whatever it is.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it was a couple weeks ago when the Chiefs were playing the Bills, and I made some random quasi-asinine comment saying, like, not sure if this is a matchup of two great defenses, because I think they were both like top 10 Ds, or two just really terrible quarterbacks. And then some Buffalo Bills Yahoo who must have just searched for the Bills tweet came in saying, like, oh, it's just a matchup of great defenses, but you're not really into that sort of thing. So, yeah. But so it is very funny how sensitive people can get on the Twitter machine. And I'm just going to carry off like you listened to me for the whole time. So moving on to Cam Newton on the Twitter machine was hacked. His account compromised Tuesday night. You know why? Because his password was Cam Newton 1. Oh. And the hackee, I guess would be the word, tweeted a whole bunch of really random funny things. Like he tweeted at Richard Sherman just saying overrated. And then also putting out, I want to sign with a good team. And then at mentioning the Panthers, release me. And then the last meme was kind of funny. He tweeted a meme, Raiders, 1 year since you last won a game. Congratulations. And then, of course, the Raiders went out and won last night. Hello.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, these guys are constantly saying they get hacked. Speaking of Ben Tate, who's become a huge topic of conversation today, he actually tweeted FU Cleveland.
No, we determined that one was photoshopped.
It was photoshopped, but I was getting to that. Yeah, that it was. He had everybody fooled. I mean, semi-legitimate news organizations were saying that, oh, look what Ben Tate tweeted, and it was photoshopped.
I thought that was kind of funny.
It was kind of funny. But it did trick people, which was great.
All right, so what are your thoughts overall on athletes on Twitter? I know that we talked about this a little bit in the last one with Mike Mitchell, but it seems like a lot of these accounts are just, like PR accounts, basically.
If I was an athlete, I would do what I do in my real life. I would have a PR account and I would have a private account for friends, Like fans can follow my PR account if they really, really want to, because it's going to be lame. But you could, if you really want to be on Twitter and talk to people, then you get a private account and you just talk to your friends and people you actually know to some degree, people you trust.
My Twitter peeps, my posse.
That's right. I have a posse.
Yeah, you got a big posse.
Yeah, my private account has like 260 people that we follow each other, and we're actually they're people I trust. I trust that they're not going to screenshot something embarrassing I say and share it with the whole entire world. Not that the world cares if I say something embarrassing, but if they did, I trust that those people would not share it.
And I'm just really hoping that one day I will not be pending to follow that account.
You will not be pending to follow that account?
I put in like 17 requests to follow you, Claire, but you're like, no, whatever. Hate is going to hate.
No, I approved you. Didn't I approve you? You're following me. Shut up, Carlson.
Yeah. All right, so quick little aside. With Cam Newton getting hacked because his password was Cam Newton 1, I have a couple of guesses on athletes' Twitter passwords.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Vince Wilfork. Password is sandwich75.
Oh.
Who knew? Russell Wilson's Twitter password is fake facade 3.
Ooh, burn.
Peyton Manning's Twitter password, I don't even think he has a Twitter password or account, but play along. 111111.
Oh no. It's not Omaha 1?
No, that one's played out.
Oh, just checking.
Alden Smith's Twitter password is
Oh, what does that mean?
It's a lot of D's. Sorry, that was a drunk joke.
Okay,
probably in poor taste. Yeah. Arian Foster is wah.
You shut up about that.
Wah 23.
Wrong.
Fine. Speaking of wrong, it's halftime for us. We're gonna take a little break, a little promo from a certain little podcast where I don't know who it is, but I guess we'll find out, and we'll be right back. Claire-Vs-Carlson Show. The Purple for the Win podcast is your one-stop shop for the team you hate that you love. That's right, dedicated to the pain and pleasure that is the Minnesota Vikings. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube for our weekly and bi-weekly mediocrity. And, of course, there's always purpleftw.com. Because, you know, aside from nipple clamps and chains and whips, cheering for the Purple People Eaters is probably the most pleasurable pain you can experience on this planet. So come on in for the mediocre analysis and the more mediocre humor. PurpleFTW.com. That's right, PurpleFTW.com.
Straight cash, homie.
And coming back for segment 3 of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show. Now, I don't know about you, Claire, but that promo made me want to sign up at purpleftw.com and just be a part of the purpleftw.com community.
Well, I mean, if you're not, you may as well question your entire reason for living.
Well, it's kind of a big deal, purpleftw.com.
The biggest deal.
Purpleftw.com. We're going to get sued by Nationwide.
I can't wait for Nationwide to call.
CND letter from Nationwide, but whatever. We got a couple of random news stories left, and then also we have our favorite game, Play or Nay, Texas Aggies edition. And
you stress me out.
What do you mean?
It's stressful.
And don't you dare have the Texas Aggies Wikipedia page open, woman. Because none of the names are on that list anyways. I checked.
Okay, because you probably got, like,
They're
the
deep.
Bucky Richardsons of the world.
They're deep.
Whatevs.
That's what she said. Last couple of news stories.
The whatevs or the that's deep part.
Yeah, speaking of not whatevs, not deep, not even funny. Jack Johnson, who is a defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets, bankrupted by his parents. Johnson, the 27-year-old hockey player, has earned more than $18 million in his career and will earn $5 million this year with Columbus. But his parents, cars, houses, travels, high-risk loans, and business ventures. He signed over power of attorney when he signed his first NHL contract, as he just wanted to focus on hockey, and filed for bankruptcy. Current assets of $50,000 and debts of more than $10 million. Reports say it could be upwards of $15 million. Only 27 years old, has now officially cut his parents out, but it's very sad, but I don't think it's very uncommon.
No, I don't think so. I think it happens in the real world and probably in the sports world. You see parents trying to financially benefit from their children's talent.
Mm-hmm. This is the child actors syndrome thing.
Yeah, like Macaulay Culkin. Didn't his parents try to take his money or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Someone like that. Anyway, I don't know. It's like we were saying earlier. There are messed up people everywhere. And unfortunately, they're going to take advantage of people who have things that they can take advantage of. So, you know, it sucks. But, I mean, this actually happened to a friend of mine. He turned 18 and he realized his father had been using his Social Security his whole life to get loans and stuff. And so he had to basically cut his father out of his life. And, you know, I forget exactly what it was called, how he...
Emancipation.
No, he was 18. So he didn't need that.
Not emancipation.
Not emancipation. But yeah, I mean, it was a big deal. So, and it sucked for him. So I can imagine how awful it would be to discover the people who brought you into this world taking advantage of the talents you got through their genetics. That's kind of awful.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like this is a story that you see a lot on, like the ESPN 30 for 30 Broke, and then also Broke 2 coming up. That's, the athlete trusts, not even his parents. Sometimes it's a business manager or something to that ilk, or his agents, and they just want to focus on the game. And when they look back, all the money's gone. Or friends and family members come with their hands. I was like, hey, I got this awesome business idea. So it's going to be a record label for goats.
Oh.
Sexy goats, though. Only sexy.
You're crazy sometimes. I don't know where you get this stuff.
Well, I was going to pitch you on the idea afterwards, since you're so well off now.
Well, goats are interesting animals. I'm sure they're quite
I'll take that
lovely.
as a yes. I'll have my lawyer draw up the papers.
Yes.
We're getting Claire-Vs-Carlson getting in the sexy goat singing business. Come on, baby.
Hello?
I'm sure it'll be very lucrative.
It's definitely an untapped market. It won't be untapped for long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I knew where you're heading with that.
But Jack Johnson, like we said, only 27 years old. Hopefully has plenty of earning power left, as apparently he's pretty good. I don't know much about hockey, but hopefully gets his priorities in line, and this doesn't be a sad story 10, 15 years down the line when he's retired and broke.
Let's hope not. I mean,
plus he can always fall back on his acoustic crooning career, Jack Johnson.
I kept thinking of that the whole time you were talking about it.
Always been waiting on you. Damn it! Now we're gonna get sued by Jack Johnson, and who else are we getting sued by? Nationwide Jack Johnson. Sorry.
We're going to be worse off than Jack Johnson, who has less than $50,000 in assets and more than $10 million in debt.
Someone else who is worse off than Jack Johnson is freaking Pitch Perfect 2. All right, so full disclosure, I loved the first Pitch Perfect. You seen that movie?
I don't think so.
How dare you? Anna Kendrick, someone named Rebel, Fat Amy, the singing, the a cappella group song. Anna freaking Kendrick, Claire, come on.
Oh, no. I don't do singing.
The wrong way
It's like
home.
a musical. It's like a musical. No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, it is. It was a musical. I don't care. I don't care. All right, so anyways, I love the first one. They're coming out with the sequel in May, and the trailer dropped this week, but Clay freaking Matthews and the Packers offensive line are in this movie. Hated it.
So you saw the movie?
No, in the trailer, they're depicted probably as a singing group, even though I'm pretty sure Clay Matthews can't sing.
It's probably a safe assumption.
Yeah, he also can't act either.
Well, yeah, that goes for a lot of athletes who don't know their limitations.
So I'm still going to see this movie and support my bae, Anna Kendrick, but this whole Clay Matthews thing and the Packers offensive line, I don't like it. Why couldn't they have gotten Anthony Barr and the Vikings offensive line? Terrible offensive line. Hello.
Have you seen Clay Matthews?
Yeah, he looks like a D to the B.
He's kind of pretty, though.
In what sense? In like the Vigo from
facial structure.
Vigo from Ghostbusters 2 sense? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, he just has a nice face.
Being a genocidal maniac who's stuck in a painting and then comes back to terrorize Manhattan, I agree.
Okay, well, whatever floats your boat.
Clay
your
is Vigo.
Okay.
Now, is this all because of you have Texas A&M ties to the Matthews family, and then Clay's like the cousin to Jake and what's his face?
Nah, bro.
It all comes back to the Aggies.
No, it doesn't. I mean, technically, I guess it kind of does, but it doesn't for me in this case. He has an attractive face. Whether or not you like his personality is a different story, but he is a nice-looking man.
Clay Matthews is going to have a pretty face until the Vikings mess it all up on Sunday at the bank. Come on.
Okay. I need you to calm down a little bit.
Come on. We're going to shock the world. It's going to be ugly, and they're going to have to win very fugly. I mean, I really hope it rains. It's forecasted. So 14-13. No, it's something even wonkier, like 14-12. It's going to be a final score.
The final score of Vikings.
Packers 14-12. Bay.
Where is it again?
At Minnesota at the bank.
Oh, I don't know what the bank is.
TCF Bank Stadium where the Gophers play.
Oh.
Yeah, that's where they're playing for the next 2 years.
I knew they were playing at the university. I didn't know what the bank was. Okay. Okay, well, I mean, I guess I could see Minnesota winning at home, but not really.
Again, it always comes back to the Vikings, always comes back to the Texans, always comes back to the Aggies, which is why we're going to play our game sound drop. Now it's time for your favorite trivia game, Play or Nay. Yeah, that's right, Claire. You did not talk over the sound drop this time because I warned you. Play or Nay, Texas Aggies edition. Now, to recap the game, I list off a player. Might be football, might be basketball, might be baseball. Who knows? And Claire tells me if they played for that team or university or nay, did not. Pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Don't F with me, Carlson. Don't give me some obscure whatever no name from 1972.
I'll think about it. And as always, since I don't have a ding or a since I didn't load them into the soundboard, we have this for a correct answer.
Yeah!
And this for a wrong answer.
Hello?
All right, we have 9 names, so we can't end in a tie. Claire, are you ready for this hotness?
Do it.
Now, remember, I said hotness, not hot mess, so come on.
It's going to be a mess, but go ahead.
First name on the board is Dat Win, linebacker for the Cowboys.
Yay. He was there when I was there. His family's from Rockport, Texas, and they own noodle shops in Corpus Christi.
No, come on. That's a little stereotypical saying that the Wins own noodle shops, Claire. How dare you?
They do.
How
they really do.
Dare you?
Look it up online. His family owns noodle shops, and now that Win works for ESPN Radio in like Dallas or something.
That ass. That is correct. Dat Win last played at Texas A&M in 1998 when Claire was just a 8th grader visiting Texas A&M College Station on a field trip. Is that correct?
He was there when I was there. He was the man on campus. He was a pretty cool dude.
Fine, I have to give her the... Yeah! There we go. 1 correct, 1-0. Next up is Pat Williams, rise to fame, defensive tackle for the Vikings and the Bills. Yay or nay, him at Texas A&M?
Nay.
That is...
Hello?
Incorrect. He let Texas A&M Aggie last season was in 1996 before going undrafted and landing with the Bills, and had a pretty darn good career in the NFL.
Yeah.
I say so myself. 1-1. Next one is a little bit of the Wayback Machine. Yeah, actually a couple of these names are the way back, but we'll get to that. The name is Sammy Baugh, quarterback, the Washington professional football team. Sammy Baugh.
You're such a...
I wish I had the Jeopardy music loaded up. Ding, 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 ding.
It's really stressful, though. I don't like this game at all.
Well, it's only multiple choice, Claire. You get that one? There we go. That's a good one.
Oh, fantastic. Gee, thanks. I really appreciate it. No, nay.
That is correct, as Sammy Baugh was the quarterback of the Texas Christian University Horned Frogs last season in 1936. You obviously knew that. You were just slow playing me.
Well, I thought actually SMU, but those Christian colleges in the Dallas area confused me every time.
No, Doak Walker was SMU. The legendary running back, Doak Walker.
My mistake.
He was the first winner of the Doak Walker Award.
SMU, that's what I call it. SMU.
Actually, that'd be kind of funny. SMU really sucks this year. I feel bad for them. They're playing like the death penalty, SMU.
I don't. They're spoiled. They'll be fine.
Fine. Next up, Daryl LaMonica, quarterback of the Raiders, the Mad Bomber, as it were. Play or nay, Texas A&M Aggies?
Nay, because I have never even heard of him.
That is correct. Daryl LaMonica first got his Mad Bombing on at the University of... How do I pronounce this? Notre Dame?
Well,
Notre Dame? Something like
If
that?
you are an illiterate person from France, maybe.
Notre Dame. We smoked the cigarettes and then we launched the missile.
Oh.
All right, so 1962 was the last season. Mad Bomber Daryl LaMonica at Notre Dame. Next up.
Why are all these old people in your list? Why are you doing this to my brain?
Because what am I going to say? Ryan Tannehill, did he play for Texas A&M Aggies? Yay or nay? Come on,
man.
Come on.
You can pick obscure ones who are still.
Next up, moving
current.
off the gridiron, moving on to the hardwood, we have Cedric Ceballos, forward, prominently known for his play with the Phoenix Suns. Yay or nay, Texas A&M Aggie?
Gosh, I don't know. No?
That is
Yeah!
correct. Cedric
Shut
Ceballos
up.
got his groove on at Ventura and then also at something called Cal State Fullerton. But you knew that, obviously.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
I remember that from, when I didn't pay attention to Cal State Fullerton basketball.
All right, so you are now 4-1. The only one you got wrong was fellow Aggie, Fat Pat Williams. Hello.
My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it happens.
Patty.
Also, staying off of the gridiron, we have Chuck Knobloch, or as the Minnesota Twins PA announcer used to announce his name, Chuck Knobloch. That was actually, yeah. Second baseman for the Twins and the Yankees. Developed a little bit of the yips. Also has a little domestic violence issues as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But was one of my favorite players growing up, and then decided to smack his wife around. So yeah, not so much anymore. Chuck Knobloch, yay or nay, Texas A&M Aggies.
Nay, because he's laughable, and if they could laugh at Aggies about it, I would have been laughed at about it. So, nay.
Well, that is
Hello?
incorrect. Chuck Knobloch, Texas A&M, 1986 to 1989.
Really?
Led them to the College World Series in one of the years.
A&M went to the College World Series?
Apparently, according to Wikipedia.
Really?
So you have two incorrects, both of them Texas A&M alums. They should take away your alum card.
Huh. Okay.
Okay. Moving on, we have Dante Hall, kick returner for the Chiefs, best known as.
Dante Hall? Yeah, he's an Aggie.
That is
Yeah!
correct. Last played
Yeah.
at Texas A&M 2007. See, I felt like I should give you an easy one.
Oh, okay. My bad. Thank you.
Sorry, that was 1997 on Dante Hall, not 2007.
Right.
That-
He
that'd be-
graduated the same year I did.
That'd be,
I'm not ashamed of my age.
Did you walk together?
No, I don't think so.
Actually,
They're
well-
all separated by college.
Well, where'd they have your college graduation?
At Reed Arena, which is still, I think they play basketball there.
All right, so it's not one of those big football stadium graduations
Yeah.
like that.
No, because they separated all into your class,
Yeah.
like, to your college. And I was in the College of Health and Kinesiology, and so, yeah.
Now, since you have a degree in kinesiology,
Health.
can you read minds, or was that from birth?
That costs extra. I didn't have
So
the
that's not
money
something
for
they can learn. Okay, but breaking up at the college graduation, I think it's way better when they do that, like smaller, more intimate venues, as opposed to I think Madison does it at Camp Randall, where it's just like the entire football stadium.
Good Lord, I'm going to a friend's graduation for an associate's degree, and her graduation is at Minute Maid Park, where the Astros play. Okay,
Oh.
it seats like 60-something thousand, maybe 70,000.
I guess that's
No.
kind of neat, except you need like a sniper rifle, or no, sorry, the scope off a sniper rifle to
Yeah.
see your child, the one that
Right.
you reared, and then the one that you paid tens of thousands of dollars to graduate from a higher place of higher education, to see them. So you're
Right.
sitting in section 202.
Right. It's not cool, I don't think.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's
Again,
kinda sucks.
Claire-Vs-Carlson Show does not promote bringing a sniper rifle to a college graduation at a large stadium. Just bring the scope.
You just want to get sued today, don't you?
Or you can just bring binoculars, but I guess that's not as cool.
You are dying to get sued.
All right, you are currently leading 5-2. You have locked up a win, so the rest is just for show.
Yes.
So let's get into the names. We have two white wide receivers that I know that you are expert in. First one is
I bet they
Dwight.
have sneaky athleticism.
Sneaky athleticism, coach on the floor, coach's son. Gritty,
Good hustle.
gutty. Good hustle. There we go. Deceptively fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that applies to Dwight Clark. Actually, not really, because he was kind of slow. Best known as a wide receiver for the 49ers, the recipient of the catch, which really should be called the throw, because Montana was under duress on that play. But whatevs. And also known as the failed general manager for the Cleveland Browns, Dwight Clark.
Oh.
Play or nay, Texas A&M?
How old is he?
Old.
Oh. Then maybe. Because I don't know him.
That's not really an option, Claire. Play or nay, Dwight Clark, Texas A&M Aggies.
Play. I don't know.
That is
Hello?
incorrect. Dwight
God
Clark, the
bless.
pride of Clemson University in South Carolina.
Oh. Well, that sucks.
It's all right. You're 5-3, still secured win, but now you're just kind of slipping towards the end of the season. It's collapsing, like the 13-0 Indianapolis Colts, and then lost the last 3 games of the season, and then won
That sounds
the
about
playoffs.
right.
Yeah, it happens. Last one of the white wide receivers, Ed McCaffrey. Easy Ed McCaffrey, wide receiver of the Broncos all those years, opposite Rod Smith.
I really liked Ed McCaffrey a lot, but he did not go to A&M.
That is correct. He
Yes.
graduated from Stanford University, the Cardinal, in 1990, back when Stanford was not very good. So, Claire, good for you.
6-3, right?
6-3 in this edition of Texas.
Good for you.
In this edition of Texas A&M Aggies, play or nay. How do you feel? What are you gonna do with all your winnings?
Well, feel free to send my check to P.O. Box. I'm just kidding, obviously.
PO Box 666.
That was what I was going to say. But then I didn't want to be all, like, satanic and have people judge me and stuff.
Who's gonna judge you?
Whoever's listening.
Child,
is
please.
Anti-Satan. So, what am I going to buy? Probably shoes.
Oh, yeah, we were vaguely talking about this. But you're not like a shoe fetish person. You're not like Di.
No, I would rather be barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to wear shoes usually in public. So if I have to wear shoes, they're going to be some fine-ass shoes.
All
But
right,
I prefer to not wear them.
all right, so now what's your go-to? Like, how many inches are your stilettos? Like 4, 5?
I have
6?
had some 6-inch stilettos.
What?
Yeah. Well, they
No.
have platforms these days. And so that adds a couple of inches to what would be a 4-inch heel. They have to make longer to adapt for the platform.
No, but that was after you left your job at the Houston Dominatrix Bar and Grill, and tires changed too, right?
No, I would wear them whenever I was a pharmaceutical rep back in the day. Because, you're talking to doctors, and they like to think they're intimidating, so I'd have to be tall. And I wore my really smart girl glasses and really high heels so that their intimidation factor would have to be decreased.
And then you use like all the $7 words like hygiene.
Like what?
Hygiene.
Oh, is that a $7 word?
I think so.
Oh, well, I do use words, so maybe some of them are $7. I don't know.
No, you got to understand that I am not the most articulate person in the world.
But
So-
you're clever. See, I'm articulate, but I'm not clever.
I got one for you.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, yeah, you'll like that one post.
Oh,
but that was
God.
the third segment. Claire just called me clever. Yeah.
Shut
And
up.
boom goes the dynamite.
We'll be right back with our Week 12 pick'em, and Andy's got some ground to make up. But we'll get to that and all the mess as we close out this edition of the Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, BRB. And I just bit my lip.
Oh, that's awful.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want.
Got a player who's hurt? No problem.
Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.
Head over to DraftKings.com now and use promo code SPREAKER to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com, bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter SPREAKER now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com, that is DraftKings.com.
And we're back for the last quarter of this week's Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, and we just found out over the break that we are fellow teeth grinders.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting.
I mean, it's something to be proud of.
They say it's sexual frustration, but I know definitely on my end that's not the truth. Hello.
Oh.
Hello?
Well, must be nice.
Sick brag, bro.
Humble brag.
We could have done a callback to the TSA thing, but now we won't bring that up.
Let's not. Let's just leave that one alone.
All right. Also leaving it alone this week is not my picks because, unfortunately, last week said I was in desperation mode, down 7 picks, 91-84, but I had to make up some ground, so I went against the grain. But Claire got every single freaking stupid game right.
I can't help being brilliant. It's hard.
It seemed like it because you got Houston at Cleveland. I picked the other side. Atlanta at Carolina. I picked the other side. San Francisco at the Giants. I picked the other side. New England at Indianapolis and Pittsburgh at Tennessee, and I picked the other side. The only one, we both got Minnesota at Chicago wrong. Both got Denver at St. Louis wrong for some reason. The only one I got right was Tampa Bay going in and stomping the mighty Washington football team. That's it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we also
but you
got
know what?
Wrong, but.
I mentioned this earlier on the Twitters. I mean, you're a risk taker. And sometimes those risks pay off, but usually risks, if all you are is taking risks for the sake of gaining ground, a lot of those risks aren't going to pay off, and that's just the unfortunate truth.
Well, just because you've never had discount sushi, it just means that you haven't learned.
That's risks. Okay. I don't need that sort of stress in life.
But I did take a risk last night as I put out there that I was taking Oakland, and I also took Oakland on the money line. Hello. So that was pretty nice. And you actually didn't register a pick, but I triple checked with you.
No, I think I told you. I think whenever I said that's crazy and I'm not picking Oakland, I think that answered the question.
It is you didn't actually say that in so many words, but it was implied that you thought my pick was stupid. But I could see if you were Shady McShaderson, you could come in like, oh,
I'm not.
I was pick Oakland. My name's Claire. Look at me.
Well, I'm already kicking your ass, so why do I need that 1 point?
Child.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Now I'm closing the gap. I'm only down 10 games, and I had to go with quite a bit of hot sauce yet again on my picks. As always, hand to God, all the picks are registered, locked in, so there's not going to be any positional advantage on this. But I am now down 90-71 to Claire's 100-61. So 10 games ahead. Hey, we both have winning records though, so that's kind of neat.
As long we're both doing well, it's just I'm doing better than you.
But see, the thing is now my record is not going to be indicative of my actual picks so much because I have to make up ground, so I have a lot of hot take picks. So I'm either going to end up winning this, which our wager is through 17 weeks. Whoever has the best record gets to pick the other's Twitter avatar for the duration of the playoffs. Which account? I don't know, since Claire's has 7 accounts.
2.
All protected.
No, my main account is not. The 23, the Arian Foster account is not protected. The DJ Swearinger account is the one that, you got to watch out for.
At the ClaireBear23 on the Twitter machine dedicated to Ben Tate. And going through the games this week, so we may as well get to it. But to backtrack, like I said, I'm either going to win this thing or I'm going to lose by like 30 games because all these takes are
Fire.
Hot. All right, so let's get to the first game. Matchup that is not very hot, to be honest. Cleveland at Atlanta. Who you got and why?
I think Cleveland bounces back. So I'm going to go with Cleveland.
Damn it. I have Cleveland as well, mostly because Atlanta is garbage. And, yeah, they're
dumpster fire.
Not so much. Poor Matt Ryan. Although Atlanta is going to be saved, like we talked about last week, when Nick Saban comes into Atlanta.
We'll see.
Comes marching in.
With your crazy ideas.
We want Bama. Tennessee at Philadelphia. Who you got and why?
Philadelphia, because Tennessee is just too much.
This is a hot one. This is going to happen. Tennessee. Zach Mettenberger coming in and stealing one on the road. They hung with Pittsburgh Monday Night Football. And I actually think they get it done on the road. I don't know why, but I had a tough time convincing myself of this, but I think it's going to happen. Next one, Detroit at New England. Who? Yeah.
New England. I mean, I know that Detroit played a formidable foe last week in Arizona, but I don't see them able to top what New England's been able to put together the past several weeks.
Now, this is part hot take and part legitimate belief, but I think Detroit, since they reportedly got hosed in a couple of controversial calls, especially that Fitzgerald first down last week, I think they're going to come in pissed. Megatron is another week healthier, and I don't know how that defense is going to get got with Revis back there and Brandon Browner, but I think Golden Tate gets a little loose. Stafford maybe steps it up, and I think Detroit pulls one off because we've seen that teams just put up a stinker every now and then. You know, every good team has one turd per week. Per season.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It could very well be New England this week, but I just don't think so.
And Detroit's defense is no joke. We've seen that
nope,
up close
it's
and personal.
Legit.
There we go. And defense always travels well, even though it's in Gillette Stadium. As a hot take pick, as a semi-rational pick, Detroit gets it done this week. IMO. Next one. Packers at Vikings. We all know what's happening.
Well, you're obviously taking Minnesota, and I'm obviously not.
Have to.
I take the Packers.
Yeah, but why, though? I feel like it's such a... Vegas says this is a pick'em.
What does that mean?
Nah, I'm just kidding. The Packers are favored by basically 10 points in a lot of spots, but I am taking my Vikings at home. This is our one time, and like we said, the Patriots, every good team has a stinker every now and then. The Packers actually have 2 stinkers already when they lost to Detroit and lost at Seattle week 1, but 3 stinkers for the Packers because they're not that good of a team, and I hate them. So the Vikings get it done at home, baby. Next one up, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. Who you got?
Indy. Easy.
I can't go hot take.
You can't.
I can't go hot take on this one.
Okay, well, that's respectable.
That would be just giving you the game. Next one up, Cincinnati Bengals at the Houston Texans. Who you got?
You think Mallett got magic for another week? I think he has magic for another week. I'm going with the Texans.
The Bengals come off a very impressive win in New Orleans. Get it done at Reliant. NRG
Liar,
Stadium.
wrong.
Get it done, baby. Jeremy Hill on the train. Come on, ride the train and ride.
Isn't Bernard supposed to come back this week or no?
Allegedly, he has been practicing, but Hugh Jackson also came out and said that Hill deserved and earned a majority of the work. I think that's going to happen again.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Because I had Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill on a few teams, so I wonder what to do about that.
Just start Hill.
You think?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying that because you want me to lose?
No, I think so because Gio, even in the season when he's been getting work, has been pretty sporadic. And coming back, they probably don't want to put him out there full bore, risk injury again because Cincinnati has playoff aspirations. LOL. Stop laughing.
I can't. Because they're going to play Houston probably in Energy and go back home in the first round.
I know. Well, if it's on the road, I think Andy Dalton might be able to get it done.
Not the last 2 times they played in Houston. I'm just saying. He went home.
Oh, yeah, the J.J. Watt pick 6, but whatevs.
But what else? And he's from, in case you don't hear it enough on Sunday, Andy Dalton, he is from Katy, Texas, which is right down the road from Houston. So you're just to let you know before you hear it.
Well,
you heard it here first.
He went to college at Boise State, so.
No, he didn't. He went
Just
to TCU.
Kidding. Red Rifle, yes, TCU led them to a Rose Bowl.
See, I'm not totally stupid. I know a few things.
Sammy Baugh was not a Texas Aggie. But Pat Williams was. New York Jets at Buffalo Bills. Pat Williams' former team. That's a smooth segue. That's actually moved to Monday night in Detroit. Mm-hmm. But neutral field, Jets at Buffalo. Who you got?
I got Buffalo. I think they're feeling feisty.
Oh, yeah. Feeling feisty, but I think the Jets get it done since they've actually been able to, practice this week. Buffalo will get in 2 practices and a walkthrough, but I don't think they get it done. And I like it. Bring on the Jets coming off the bye. Actually, do they have a bye?
I don't know. Now you're just making things up.
It doesn't matter because they're the Jets. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at your Bay Chicago Bears. Who at?
The Bears.
I got Tampa.
Hmm.
Bringing the heat. Also, one of the YOLO picks. Also, I don't think the Bears are that good.
They're not, but neither's Tampa Bay.
They thoroughly outplayed the Vikings last week and only ended up winning by 8 points because they're the LOL Bears.
Whatever you say. They're the LOL Bucks.
First of the late games. Arizona Cardinals going up to Quest Field or CenturyLink. I don't care what they call it anymore. Seattle Seahawks. This is the place where the Arizona Cardinals beat the Seattle Seahawks last year, marking Russell Wilson's first home loss ever. Arizona Cardinals at whatever. Who we got?
Seattle? No, I don't have Seattle. I have Arizona.
Damn it. I have Arizona too. I think they get it done on the road. I think they're just too good, especially that defense. And Seattle is a flawed team right now.
They are a flawed team, and they call their stadium the Clink after it's CenturyLink, the Clink. So just FYI, I think that's kind of clever, actually, and I'm not a big Seattle fan.
No, who's not else is a big Seattle fan? Anybody.
That's true.
There you go. St. Louis Rams at the San Diego Chargers. St. Louis is flying high off that 22-7 win. Versus the Denver Broncos last week in San Diego. Beat the Raiders, but again, whatevs. Who you got in this West Divisions battle?
I guess San Diego, if you got to pick one.
I got STL and the immortal Sean Hill on the road. Speaking of flawed teams, San Diego quietly has started to fall apart. Phillip Rivers started off as the league MVP candidate early on, and now is injured, has been playing bad, one-dimensional on offense. They're going to get got.
Awful. Just awful.
The Rams.
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm not buying into the Rams are everything that they claim to be.
Sean Hill.
What else?
Get some. Next game up. Ooh, got a spicy one. Miami Dolphins fighting for a playoff spot at Mile High versus the Denver Broncos coming off of that loss. Who you got in this matchup, Claire?
Maybe. I mean, what? Is it injuries? Is that what's happening to Denver? Because, whoa, who is this team the past 2 weeks? The same time, they're at home. It's going to be cold. It's Miami. And not that they're bad. I mean, they're just from Miami. They're their blood is thin already. So I'm going to go with the home team and pick Denver.
Yeah, I think the thing with Denver is the offense just seems off this year. It's not the same as last year. I do think Emmanuel Sanders is an upgrade over Eric Decker, but he might miss this game. Wes Welker is obviously not the same. Julius Thomas dealing with the injury as well. And Miami is going to go out there and get it done. Because Denver, they've had a ton of injuries at running back, and now they're starting C.J. Anderson and Juwan Thompson. Ronnie Hillman is out. Monty Ball is out and was ineffective when he was healthy anyways. And Miami, Lamar Miller, another week removed from that shoulder injury. Get it done in Mile High, baby.
Oh.
Send it.
Okay.
Spending the cheddar already. Mm-hmm. Washington at San Francisco, traveling east to west. Who you got?
Washington is too much of a hot mess to even rely on them at the moment, and I think that they'll get demolished by San Francisco's defense. I'm going with San Francisco.
Yeah, Washington's coming to the game 3-7. They're going to leave 3-8. I can't do that.
No, you can't. Which is so ironic.
Oh,
okay.
That was my Asian laugh there, by the way. That would also come off really racist if people didn't know I was Asian.
Yeah, so everybody, Andy is indeed Asian, which is why the no math thing is funny and why he can do the fake Asian laugh.
Oh, what's happening in hot stuff?
That's funny.
Please tell me you saw that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Dong, where's my automobile? Dong, where is my Sunday Night Football matchup? Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants, which seemed like a good matchup on paper at the beginning of the season. But who you got winning this game on Sunday night?
It could be either team, but I'm going to go with Dallas.
I am going with the Giants because I think Eli Manning can't possibly be 5-pick Eli Manning again. Although
he has been Eli Manning for the past 3 years. This is the real Eli Manning.
Eli Manning struggle face.
Yeah, well, that's the real one. The Super Bowl one was an anomaly. This is real. He's back.
Well, if you think about it, his career basically comes down to 2 plays. Mm-hmm. The Tyree catch and then that Manningham. I have no idea how he caught that ball still play from the 2011 Super Bowl.
Concur. Continue.
Still has twice as many rings as Peyton. Hello.
Ooh, ouch.
Monday Night Football, the one of the 2 Monday Night Football games that we talked about. Baltimore at New Orleans. Who you got?
I don't trust New Orleans. Taking Baltimore.
I decided to go New Orleans. I know I trashed them early on, but then I forgot that I had to make like hot takes, and then I picked this the other night. So I got Houdat at home, even though Flacco returns to the place where he earned himself like $200 bajillion.
Yep.
Hopefully they keep the lights on. So this week is going to be hot, Claire. I can't catch you officially, but I can definitely make up some ground as we differ on 9 games this week. How crazy is that?
Unless I go perfect again, and you don't.
Well, you didn't go perfect. You missed on 4 games, but also 3 of them were games I missed on too, so whatever.
Close enough. Sounds perfect to me.
Mention. And speaking of the Saints and how the NFC South is biblically bad, I played around with ESPN's playoff projections, and the Panthers can conceivably plausibly win this division at 5-10-1. A 5-win team hosting a playoff game. That's beautiful.
Is that I think you should look this up because you're good at this sort of thing. Is that the worst record ever for a playoff team?
That would 5-10-1 would definitely be the worst playoff record. The worst record, I believe, is 7-9, and then also, we're talking about the 2010 Seahawks when they won the NFC West at 7-9, which was then the worst division in football. I mean, how quickly can things change? And then Saints fans were complaining, it's like, why do we have to play up in Seattle when we're a wild card and we have a better division record? And then they're 7-9, and then they went and got beast quaked up there.
They sure did.
It was
that
gorgeous.
happened. That was real.
Or was it 2009? That doesn't matter. Yeah. So that's kind of funny, even though I think the Saints will eventually win this division at like 7-9 or whatever.
Probably. I mean, that just seems more likely, but.
Well, the NFL is praying that some team wins this at least 7-9, because if like a 6-10 team wins this division, that will be an embarrassment. And then watch that team get hot in the playoffs and make a run. Oh,
yeah, that would be frustrating for everybody else involved.
And then you have like a 9-7 San Francisco or a 9-7 Detroit just sitting at home while a 7-9 team, or hell, even a 6-10 Saints, Falcons, whatever team makes the playoffs and makes some noise. Gets a home playoff game.
What an awful mess that would be. And awesome.
It would be pretty awesome. The most awesome thing about it is that the Buccaneers are 2-8 and are still mathematically in the mix. They're only 2 games back.
Yeah, I know. We had a Bucks guy on the NFL Female podcast this week, and there's a case to be made that, Lovie Smith's defense, it starts coming around toward the end of the season, the first year it's implemented, and, the defense could be catching on, and their offense is shaping up with Mike Evans in effect, and so it's
not giving up 56
impossible.
points to the Falcons.
Right. Well, like I said, their defense, who was it? Major Wright or somebody was saying, he played for Lovey in Chicago, was saying it took him into his second year to actually understand the defense he was playing for before that defense became formidable.
Oh, I'm supposed to tackle the guy with the ball.
Right. That's your job.
The whole Tony Dungy, Monty Kiffin, Lovie Smith, Leslie Frazier, Tampa 2, which has now become Tampa Too Many Points. Hello. That deserves one. There we go. That one. Yeah, I keep forgetting about Leslie Frazier. And we played the Buccaneers.
Well, sorry.
Minor details. Also, the last couple of details we got just a little fun, a little mess around. Claire and I came up with some indie band names. Now, they could be indie. They could be death metal. You actually have some real ones. Why don't you reel them off?
Well, real ones that that I found, a couple of them I found in my library, but one of them I just know of. So I find the name, this one's a very popular band now, Arctic Monkeys. That's like kind of overdone, but if you really visualize an Arctic monkey, that makes me giggle. And then also Japan Droids, which is a great name, because they couldn't decide.
Androids.
Yeah. They wanted to be something to do with Japan. I can't remember, one of them did, and the other one wanted to be androids, so they just combined the two. Japan Droids.
Nah.
And then the last one is real, and it's embarrassing to even talk about, but it's something. Their band name is Diarrhea Planet. So that's legit. Yeah, that's a band. Look them up. They're there.
All right, so I got a couple of fake names.
What are their names?
Oh, yeah. All right, so I don't know if they would be like indie or like punk, folk, or death metal, but yeah, we'll figure it out. So what made me think about this segment was Lake Effect Snow, and I think that would be a fun name for a band. Lake Effect Snow.
That's actually not awful.
Duh. None of these are awful. Winning.
Except for you.
Please. Next one up, Red-Headed Stepfather.
Oh. My ex-husband was actually a redheaded stepchild, and I actually pointed that out to him one day, and he didn't appreciate it.
Oh, come on. You got to think if you're a child of divorce and also a redhead that you would have to have a sense of humor. I mean, how?
Oh, he had a sense of humor, but yeah, he was a little touchy.
Now, did he accept the ginger role? Did he Andy Dalton it, or did his soul not accept it because his soul was not there?
He started surfing, and then he got really tan, and his hair became a lovely blondish strawberry color. So he shunned his ginger heritage.
Now, you're talking about his hair with fond memories. Is this like the Celine Dion song? It's all coming back to me now.
No, I don't know that Celine Dion song, but he did have a lovely head of hair.
All right, so
that was a perk.
We're going to get sued by Jack Johnson, Celine Dion, and Nationwide.
Ex-husband? Oh,
and ex-husband. Okay.
Just saying.
Oh, redheaded ex-husband.
Redheaded ex-husband. Okay, there's a name.
The next fake band name is Nazi Rabbit.
I could actually see that being a band name.
And their number one hit single that you've never heard of because they're an underground band is Bleeding Anus.
Oh, that sounds awful.
And it goes,
that sounds, I don't think I could listen to that with good, yeah.
They're opening for the Lumineers.
Shut up.
Next one up, Calendar Stab.
Why are we stabbing the calendar?
It makes no sense. That's why it's perfect.
Oh, okay.
You can put on your hipster glasses and be like, oh, I guess you've never heard of Calendar Stab. Too deep.
That's awesome.
Now, are your hipster glasses just like your smarty glasses?
I have one pair of glasses, so they're the same.
Oh, so they're dual purposes. Oh no,
Yeah.
they're dual threats like Marcus Mariota.
Ouch.
That's not ouch.
Sorry, I was thinking of Marcus Lattimore because we were talking about him earlier.
Oh.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
No,
No, yeah, no, they're just multi-purpose. That's all.
You know what else is multi-purpose? My band name of Fetus Burger.
Oh my God. You are not naming a band Petersburger.
You just watch me. I'm starting all of these bands.
You're going to be the next, whoever that guy who runs boy bands is. That big guy who was in the media like 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's in jail now for something.
Yeah, he was like siphoning money off of the bands that he represented.
Yeah, so Lake Effects No, Nazi Rabbit, Redheaded Step, Ex-Husband, Calendar Stab, and Nazi Rabbit, I will all be siphoning money off of. As well as the band Lawnmower Orgy.
That one is really good too, actually. These have gotten better as you go along.
Duh.
Oh.
And the last one, just to bring it home, of indie, punk, death metal band, Ben Tate.
Oh, okay.
Since this episode is all Ben Tate everything, I feel like he's been a specter around. I feel like this is like a radio show during the OJ trial where everything always leads back to OJ.
And it's just Ben Tate. It's a lackluster, subpar running back in the NFL who's commanding all of our attention this whole show.
I was listening to Ben Tate before it was cool.
What else?
Well, Lawnmower Orgy. I'm kind of digging that.
Petersburger has potential.
As both a band or a restaurant name?
Definitely not a restaurant name. It would never fly in the South.
Oh, why not? Yeah, because the Bible.
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is something abortive. And yeah, that just wouldn't fly. But it's not that it's not funny. I think it's great because you're not talking about that. You're just calling it a fetus, which is a normal, natural thing. And it's a burger. That's a fetus.
To make this gross, what if the burgers were made from like cow fetae?
That's awful. I couldn't eat that.
That's worse than veal. Except veal's delicious though.
I don't eat veal or lamb. I don't eat babies.
Yeah, except lamb is a full-grown baby sheep.
A full-grown baby sheep. Listen to yourself.
Oh, that's another band name. Full-grown baby sheep. Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Right. Officially, Claire-Vs-Carlson Show, we are shutting down our 13 episodes because we are getting into the band naming business.
There you go. We're done, people. We're done
and
working for you for free.
All right, yeah, but we're out of here for tonight. Part of the Late Night Sports Radio Network, latenightsportsradio.com. Claire at the Claire Bear 23 Mullins, that is her PR account. That's her Russell Wilson fake account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yep.
Where she just says very straight up PR things and inspiring things and promoted ads and
solicit
tweets.
Christmas gifts. I did solicit a Christmas gift earlier today.
Now, what is a gift that you are looking for? What's on Claire's Christmas list?
There is, well, I just happened to see this article where Arian Foster was one of many football players to lend a design to Target for a T-shirt during the Christmas holidays. And it's just a very simple shirt. It's red and it has, I think, white letters. And it just says, "I don't know you, bro." Like whenever he said that to, who did he say that to? I forget. He said to someone, and it was like a YouTube clip. "I don't know you, bro. What's the name on the back of your jersey? I don't know your name." Yeah, so that was good.
Now, I feel like a better T-shirt would be when J.J. Watt says that he's eating burritos bigger than Ray Rice.
Right. Absolutely, but I don't think J.J. Watt signed on to this project. So, sorry, maybe next year.
Yeah, minor details. So, I feel like we can do a whole segment in one of the upcoming shows of things to get Claire for Christmas. Because people obviously want to treat you nice, and so you can have nice things.
Well, I would love it if they did because gifts are cool.
Claire,
I deserve all the gifts. I deserve all the gifts.
Claire, I have a gift for you, except I need your full address and class schedule and list of fears.
You do know that I'm not stupid.
I'm going to put my evil inside of you.
This is not Saw either.
That's from an SNL sketch.
Oh, my bad.
But, yeah, close enough. Yeah, we're out of here. We're delaying the inevitable. I'm Andy Carlson. at Andy Carlson Show, because that's not a thing yet, but eventually it will be. Squatter, and also at Purple for the Win doing things over there. We can be found at Claire-Vs-Carlson on the YouTube page. But we're out of here. Enjoy your weekend. Say goodnight, Claire.
Good night, Claire.
And we are out of here. Go Kentucky.
Kentucky.
In my opinion, that sucked.
The music was created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, check out soundcloud.com/Deeb.